Business ownership has never been hotter, but how do you do it? That's where I come in. Allow me to guide you on your journey. Welcome to Ion Franchise.
So let's talk about the cost. So far in your item 19, or I'm sorry, in your item 7 in your FDD, your disclosure document for those playing along at home, franchise brands disclose what things actually cost, not projections, but the history. So far with a couple of locations, obviously, if you take over an existing sort of restaurant or bar, the costs will be lower. You were in the contracting business. You of all people are a master at that. But what do these things typically cost all in to get open?
Yeah, pre-pandemic when we opened up our locations, they were anywhere from 8 to 1.2. Now with just the cost and inflation of everything, our item 7 is going to be updated for 2024 to be $1 million to like 1.8. And that 1.8 is typically a cold dark shell where the landlord's giving you 600,000-700,000 in TIA and tenant improvement allowance. So you end up falling back around that 1.2, 1.3 range anyway. Yeah. So yeah, we're $1 million to $1.8 million in upfront, and that includes your initial franchise fee to opening your doors and training and everything.
Yeah. And an additional footnote for anybody listening, the TIA, or, it's called different things in different regions, but tenant improvement allowance is money that the landlord will give you to improve essentially their space. Because if you're leasing a space like most people in America are, it's the landlord's space that you're going to hand back, 100 years from now or whenever you're done with it, if you're ever done with it. So it's wonderful to get $600,000 from the landlord to improve the space. Results may vary, so but that's a wonderful goal. So right now you have 3 open, correct? You have 2 corporate and 1 franchise?
Yep, 3 open locations. Yeah, 2 corporate and 1 franchise.
And what do you have? And the franchise, talk a little bit about this franchisee. In any brand, it's tough being the first franchisee. So tell me a little bit about you launching the franchise system and how you actually got into franchise.
Yeah, obviously, like I said, we had so many people come in and say, hey, how do we bring this to our city? We love the brand, love the name, love everything you guys are doing with the culture and the design. So that piqued the interest, right? And it's not the cheapest thing that you can just continue to grow corporately and have the funds to do that. So the franchising aspect came in 2018, 2019. And then I started the process with an attorney to actually look into the FDD and what those steps took. And 2020 came, the pandemic hit. So we put that on hold just to keep our head above water and make sure our staff was taken care of and keep our team. And then as we got past 2021, 2022, I rolled that back up with my attorney and we finalized our documents in August of 2022. And we started our website and all that August, September of 2022. So yeah, the franchising piece came from mostly clients. And then the first franchisee lives in Rock Hill, South Carolina. And he came to visit Penn House, which is another location we have. And he loved the idea. So he reached out to our tech company and was like, hey, I want to open one of these. Who can I speak with? And he's like, well, you can speak with Rich. He's awesome to speak with and he'll help you out anyway. And when we met, he was a school teacher retiring, him and his wife. And he said, I don't know anything. I said, well, I'm in the process of finalizing my FDD. If you want the franchise, it'd just be a few more months. And he went home, talked to his wife. The next day he called, he said, we're in. So it's been cool to have it in our backyard. Definitely, ups and downs with the first one. Just there's so much we've learned on our end, so much he's learned on his end. And it's a lot of fun, but we needed that first one to be close so we can have it in our backyard and get the thing needed.
That is the ideal scenario, so you can really absolutely support him. So in that process, did you have a lot of meals and conversations with he and his wife? Because we know the women are the decision makers.
Yeah, right. Not a ton. I think he's very quick to make decisions, which I enjoyed. I think he was going to do it either way, and then just to be able to have the support of a brand and the expertise of what we've gone through over the years prior, 5 years prior to that, has been super helpful. So the decisions, I mean, we definitely met, I'd say 3 or 4 times, and he met with my team and my management team. So a few meetings, but I would say a lot less than maybe other franchisors for their first franchise.
Well, and obviously he had a chance to really experience it on a regular basis. He was a customer. So talk a little bit, we talked about some of the huge benefits. You get in an industry or a business that people are super passionate about, like he and his wife were. You have a minimal employee count and you have high margins in this business. So talk a little bit about that because, most people know in the bar business, liquor, beer, wine, the margins are fantastic. It's the food that the margins are very skinny. So
Yeah.
talk a little bit about that, gross profit, whatever it is you disclose on that.
Yeah, we're gross profit 78 to 82%, which is phenomenal. It's a volume game though, right? You got to get to a certain point, and once you cover your expenses, once you cover your nut, the bottom line, your expenses don't change. So I always say, once you cover your nut, you're typically 70-ish% to the bottom line. It's just how do you have enough volume to get to the point of covering your nut?
Yeah.
But gross margins are around 80% on average, which is great. It's just
Yeah.
a volume game, making sure you're in the right city, the right town, the right area, and next
Yeah.
to the other bars and restaurants.
Yeah. Now it's not a small investment, but obviously there's financing out there for tenant improvement stuff and contractor stuff and, SBA loans. Are you on the SBA registry yet?
Yeah, we're on the SBA registry. Our first franchisee used SBA. Our Fort Worth, Texas group is using the SBA loan. We work with Fran Fund as well, who they understand the franchising world and they use SBA.
Fabulous.
We are.
Yeah, and franchising likes brick and mortar. They understand that better. Assets going in, construction costs. Everybody comes with a certain amount of working capital, or the loans can provide that. So let's talk a little bit about the money part. We talked about gross profit, and we know that is huge. This isn't like any other franchise that I know where the margins are that high. Obviously, there's a little bit more of an investment, but talk about, in your item 19 in the FTD, your first year average sales were huge.
Yeah, first year average right around 1.4, and actually our Greenville, South Carolina location was a lot less than what we projected. Just the demographic and the territory we picked was a developing area, so it still has a couple more years to fully develop around it. So we've learned a lot in that location. But average first year sales of 1.4 in Charlotte, North Carolina. Our first year was 1.8, and so the numbers make a lot of sense at that number.
Yeah, especially with those margins.
If you're ready to talk about franchise opportunities, hit the link below to schedule a call. My services are free, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for listening.